Welcome to the Marketing Happy Hour podcast, where you'll hear career-defining advice, powerful social media strategies, unique creative tips, groundbreaking influencer marketing tactics, and more from marketing experts that represent some of the world's leading brands. So grab a drink and join us for this week's episode. We have a massive Instagram update for you guys. Everyone is getting link stickers on their stories. I repeat, everyone. You don't just have to be verified. You don't have to have 10,000 followers. You too can get link stickers. This is so incredibly exciting for brands looking to drive more conversions to their website, to gain more reach for their products and their services. I am so excited about this, and this is definitely a long time coming for Instagram. So kudos to them for finally giving us this update.
This week, I was able to chat with Danielle Vito. She's the Senior Social Media Manager at AvantStay, a vacation rental company catered to groups and designed for unique experiences. In this episode, Danielle shares her unique path in travel marketing, what it takes to work in social media at a startup, and how to create viral buzz around your brand. I also find out that Danielle and I have emailed back and forth at previous jobs before, and I didn't even know it. Can't wait for you to hear all of the tips and tricks that Danielle has to share. Listen in. Hey Danielle, how are you?
I'm great, Erica. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to connect with you again. You were one of the OG Marketing Happy Hour speakers on Clubhouse, and we loved getting to know you on that panel. So before we jump in, I have a really important question for you that you may remember us asking in our Clubhouse session. And that is, what is in your glass tonight? This is Marketing Happy Hour after all.
All right. Don't be mad. I'm not drinking anything. I honestly am probably a bit dehydrated and should at least be drinking some water right now. But I'm working remotely. So just finished up working and just went straight into this and didn't have time to grab a drink.
Oh, man, that's all right. I actually have an Onda. It's Shay Mitchell's tequila seltzer brand, and I think that that's going to be like my drink of the season because I've already been drinking it in 2 other episodes that we've recorded. So
they should be your sponsor at this point.
I know. I mean, if we speak it into existence, maybe it'll happen. I don't know if Shay Mitchell cares about marketing, but she should, and she probably does because her branding is amazing. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, as someone who loves all things travel and marketing, I am so intrigued by your current role with AvantStay and all of the experience that you've had with them. I'm a kind of a social media story stalker here. Can you just tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to work with AvantStay?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I can kind of throw it back to when I first graduated. So I went to the University at Albany in upstate New York. I graduated in 2014 with a business administration degree with a concentration in marketing. And when I graduated, this was when I got my first taste of working in the startup world. That it was a job that also incorporated travel and marketing. So I was working just for like a contracted position. So it was a semester-long stint where I went on it was about 3 months, road trip with a company called Yik Yak. I don't know if you've ever heard of Yik Yak before.
I think so, yeah.
So basically, they actually died off and just came back very randomly, but it was a social media app that was really big around 2015. So right after I graduated college.
Is that the anonymous like college app where everybody would write kind of mean things about people in their college?
Yep, that's it. Yeah, so I worked with Yik Yak in 2015, right after I graduated college. And basically, if you don't know what Yik Yak is, it was a social media app that was pretty popular
on college campuses at that time. And it was a location-based anonymous Twitter is like the best way to describe it. So anyone within a 5-mile radius can put a message up on this like kind of message board, and people can upvote it or downvote it. So there was a lot of funny yaks, as they called it, on there. But of course, there was obviously some negative aspects of that with people bullying and bomb threats and things like that.
Oh
So
gosh.
so luckily being out in the field didn't have to deal with any of those major issues. But I got to experience probably the most fun experience that I've ever had working in marketing, because I got to travel on a tour bus with, I think there were 7 of us total. So we all had like bunk beds, and we went from college to college down the West Coast, starting up in Washington, down through Oregon, California, Arizona, going to about 30 different colleges, putting on these different marketing activations, working very closely with Greek Life, throwing events, and going onto campus and setting up a booth and just like giving out marketing materials, koozies, pens, and getting people to sign up for the app.
That's so
And
cool.
it was a lot of fun, especially with partnering up with the Greek Life. We got to go to some fun events, and we had this mechanical yak that we
Oh
set
my
up at the
gosh.
parties. And it was honestly just like such a great job to have right out of college, because I still felt like I was in college. So it was a ton of fun. And I was on the bus with, we were all like 22, 23, 24. So it was essentially like being on a reality TV show was how it felt. Like we were just 7 strangers that didn't know each other, that were all hired on for this role, and we became great friends, and I still talk to a lot of them. But that was definitely my first real like job that I got a taste of, getting to travel while doing marketing. And I also, along the way, got to create some fun content. That's when Vine was really big. So we were doing a lot of
Yes.
Vines, RIP Vine. I miss Vine.
I know.
And then also just like creating content for Instagram and stuff. But even back then, Instagram in 2015 is nothing like it is today. And I always say, if TikTok existed back then, we would have been viral. Like what we were doing was really truly like viral worthy. So that was when I first started working with startups. It was only a semester long gig, so I came back, and then I'm based in New York City, so I came back and I started working for a hospitality company. It's a restaurant group. They have 4 different restaurants in New York City, and I did that for about 4 years until I realized I really wanted to work more in the travel space. This is not your ordinary route of going about it, but I was on a game show and won
Oh
some
my
money,
goodness.
and used that money to get a master's, which technically I didn't finish, which is a whole nother story in itself. But the story with that, and I'm sorry, I'm just like rambling. It's such a
No,
random
this is
story.
great. This is awesome.
But so with that, I went on this game show. I won some money, and I was like, all right, I want to get my foot in the door at a bigger brand. I've been working in the restaurant industry, but I loved working there. It was a great experience. A lot of like hands-on, doing everything from, events to social to email. But I wanted to do something bigger, and I was like, well, this could be a good opportunity for me to go back to school, get a degree, and maybe get to do an internship where I can get my foot in the door at a travel company. So I actually found this master's program through Temple University. And it was a 1-year online master's, so it seemed pretty easy. It wasn't as expensive as going to get an MBA. So I was like, well, this is a perfect thing to kind of like differentiate me, get my foot in the door, because one of the things to get the degree was you needed to complete an internship. So I was like, this is perfect. So I started that, and almost all the way through, I saw a viral internship post for a company called The Points Guy, which is
Yes.
yeah. So this
Yes.
is the reason why I didn't finish my master's, because I wound up taking this internship at The Points Guy. It was a viral internship that they were looking for a Points Pups intern. So they had office dogs, and they were
Wow.
looking for someone to come in and create travel content around like traveling with pets. So I was like,
Wow.
well, this sounds amazing. I applied for that position, and having a background with a master's degree and working toward a master's degree in travel and tourism was obviously very unique. It's not a very common thing. So I think that stuck out to them a bit. And I had also done just some traveling in my personal life, where I'd gone on some like influencer retreats. So I actually went with the Blonde Abroad. She's a pretty big travel influencer. She was rated Forbes's #2 travel influencer in like
Wow.
2017 or something. She was rated #1 or #2, and then I forgot who was 1 or 2, and then the Points Guy, Brian Kelly, was like on that #1 or #2 also. I forgot who was who, but it was just funny because I went in, I was like, yeah, I worked with the number 1, and Brian's the #2, or whatever it was, flip flopped. So they like that as well. But yeah, so I started there, and my whole goal was to get a job within the industry. So I was like, well, I have so much on my plate right now. I'll come back to this master's, and still haven't come back to it. I have like 2 classes left, which is
Oh my
so
goodness.
bad. I need to just finish it. But my goal was to get my foot in the door, so that's what I did. And then from there, I started. I was with the Points Guy for about a year until I moved on to another company called Domio.
Yeah.
And Domio is very, very similar to the role that I have now. So Domio was a company that specialized in apartment hotels. So they would
Mhm.
do master leases on apartment buildings in desirable areas and turn all the apartments into like a rental. So it was kind of like a whole building of Airbnbs essentially.
Yeah, actually, my last company, we were working with them prior to the pandemic to do a giveaway. And then I believe, like during the pandemic, I believe they may have gone out of business or something, but
Yes, I
that's so
remember this. I
crazy.
remember
That's,
emailing with you back then.
oh my gosh, are you serious? Wait, that was you?
Yeah, yeah.
Stop. Oh my gosh, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, hello. I'm
That's
glad that
funny.
we finally connected here too.
Yeah. No, it's
That's
so funny how that
crazy.
works out. But yeah,
Oh my
what
gosh.
happened was, it was a startup in the travel space during COVID,
Mhm.
and they did not survive it. So was laid off, which was awful. And my background was all travel and restaurant marketing. So not great for pandemic time hiring.
Oh man.
But we had a few people from Domio that moved on over to Avantstay, which is where I'm at now.
Okay.
And that's how I was brought on through one of my past coworkers there. In the meantime, I actually did work for the New York City Ferry for a little bit, which
Cool.
was great as well. That was a lot of fun. I grew up in New York City, so to be able to work with a company that promotes traveling through New York and showing off the city was really great. But now I'm at Avantstay, and really loving it so far. I've been there for about like 7 months now, which is pretty crazy. I started part-time at first while I was still at the New York City Ferry, and then moved over full-time in March. So
Awesome.
maybe like
That is
5 months now full-time.
okay, cool. That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your role right now?
Sure. So I am the senior social media manager at Avantstay. And right now, I kind of oversee all things social. But as a startup company and a member of the marketing team, I also do get to help with just overall creative brainstorming for marketing campaigns. Work really closely with our partnerships team and our influencer team. You know, so brainstorming things like email subject headlines, and whenever a different part of the marketing team needs some help, always there to jump in. And
Yep. All hands on deck
yeah,
marketing is what I call
yeah,
that.
absolutely. And anywhere you go, you kind of realize the social manager plays a role in
Oh
in
yeah.
other aspects of the marketing team as well.
Yep.
So right now my team is actually a social media team of one.
Oh my
I rely a
goodness.
lot. Yeah, I did have an intern, and I had a social coordinator under me for a little while, but uh, I'm actually looking to hire somebody new. Uh,
Ooh.
so if anyone is interested, I'm hiring for a social media producer role that will help produce social media content, do TikToks, Instagram stories, all that kind of fun stuff.
That's
If you're
awesome.
interested, yeah, go on over to our LinkedIn and check out our role there.
Yeah,
But
we'll have to share that out on our channels when this goes live for sure.
yeah, absolutely, that would be great. But I still get a lot of help from our copywriter, our graphic designer. So I'm not completely alone, but from the social media management standpoint, right now I'm doing a lot on my own. So it's a lot of work. It's very fast paced.
Mhm.
Always things are changing, so it's a lot to take in. But it's such a great company that's has so much potential to be really something special and big. And I'm really excited to be along for the ride as we grow.
Yeah, that's incredible. Speaking to that, kind of, I'd love to learn a little bit about the brand story. How is AvantStay different from, maybe other popular vacation rental companies that you see everywhere?
Yeah. So I think that people think that Airbnb and Vrbo are vacation rental companies, but
Mhm.
really they more so are like booking, as you would
Right.
see as an Expedia or booking.com. They're more of a booking platform rather than a vacation rental company. So you're
Sure.
having all these, you know, amateur random people that are putting their home up on Airbnb, and you don't know what experience that you're going to get. You don't know what you're walking into. There's not a lot that's promised when you're going into
Mhm.
something like that. With AvantStay, so we work with homeowners, and those homeowners either lease their homes to us, or we do property management for them. So essentially, we're doing all of the work, and these people kind of just own the homes and kind of sit back and let us do everything while they make money. So
Cool.
we have two sides of our business. That's the supply side. So we work with homeowners and help them make money while we, lease the homes from them and create an amazing product in their homes that people can enjoy. And then we give our guests an experience that you can expect to be the same every time you stay with us. So you're going to be able to check in through the AvantStay app. You're going to know that you're going to have all the shampoos and soaps and everything that you need. You can have the same exact experience every time, whenever you stay with us. And not only, those basic factors, but the 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 cool factors of AvantStay are the services and the amenities that you get. So
Awesome.
all of our homes are filled with really experiential amenities that you can sit around with friends and enjoy. So we have like foosball tables, pool tables, volleyball courts. We have homes with movie theaters, game
Wow.
rooms, hot tubs, like mini golf courses. Like we have so many like just exciting amenities at our homes. And then at the same time, we also provide services that you're not going to get at your average, vacation rental. Like you can book through our app a private chef to come cook for you. You can hire a massage therapist to come give you a massage through our app. You can get your fridge fully stocked so that when you show up, everything that you need is already there, and you don't have to waste time on your vacation going to the grocery store. So we do a lot of things that help create a better experience overall for our guests.
that
Sure.
you can't get at, some random person's house that, you know, to put the key under the doormat and you hope
Right.
that something's going to be that you're going to hope that the house looks like what it did on the internet.
Right. Yep. I've heard a lot of horror stories about about vacation rentals like that. So it's great to hear that you guys are kind of providing a new experience, a better and more lasting impression on people looking to travel the vacation rental place. That's awesome.
Yeah. And
Um,
our homes are also like really made for groups. So a lot of our homes range from like 3 to 10 plus bedrooms. So you
mm,
can have, all of your friends stay. You can have a great family reunion. It's really a great place to just come together and reunite with friends, which we're really seeing a lot of nowadays after we're coming out of on the tail end of the pandemic and people are ready to travel again and reunite with people they haven't seen. So it's exciting to
sure.
be a part of that now as we're seeing all these people getting to connect again together.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm always on their social media. The interior design is on point. The little branding touches are on point. Like you said, the experiences like the mini golf, that's so cool. I if I was ever to stay in a place that had a mini golf course, I would just feel like I was the queen. Like that's
I
amazing.
know. I've only stayed at a few properties so far. I need to venture out and actually get out to some more. But what's also exciting is we actually are moving into the boutique hotel space as well. So
Oh
there's
wow.
some new products coming out, and we've also have some homes that we're pulling into a new collection called our Avance Estate Collection that have elevated concierge services. So besides just being able to book things through the app, like your chef or massage therapist, you can also now have a personal concierge that will meet you at your house, that will schedule anything you need from, we've had them schedule things like a mermaid to come swim in the pool with kids,
Oh
to
my
a
goodness.
magician, to a mixologist. I mean, they can really do anything you need. Like if you want to throw a birthday party for your dog, they will make it happen. So it's such a cool experience. And the way that Avance just goes above and beyond for their guests is really amazing.
Yeah, that is so awesome, and I love the customizable aspect. I think that, like, really, like, makes a difference when you're looking at, like, who to stay with. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
who do I know is gonna give me that experience I'm looking for? And obviously, Avant Stay goes above and beyond in that area. So
Yeah.
that's super cool. That's super, super cool to hear. Well, moving on just to kind of the social realm, what's something that you're really focusing on in your social strategy lately? I know you've been at the company for a few months now, and have you shifted your strategy in the time that you've been at the company in any major way? Are you kind of focusing on video content, reels, TikTok? What's the secret sauce?
Yeah. So we actually are kind of revamping our strategy overall right now as we're growing out our marketing team. We've just hired a new head of marketing, she's really awesome. And we're just kind of building out all new strategies across the board. So, as a startup, you kind of have to work with what you're given sometimes. So from the social is not always everyone's first, thought in mind when you're getting what you need at your company. So when it came to photography, we were focusing a lot on getting those interior shots that we can use to list our homes and people can book. And that's kind of what I had to use for social media. And, what people are want to see when they're looking at a home on the website isn't the same, the same vibe that you want to see on social media. You want to see
Right.
more lifestyle. You want to see, more things that look a little bit native to Instagram rather than something that looks highly produced. Now we're really diving into some lifestyle content shoots, looking into how we can incorporate more video, how we can incorporate more user generated content, and how we can try to get more of our guests to share their stays and tag us in their stays so that we have that content to repurpose. So, kind of just stepping back and looking at what content we have now and how it can be improved to really just be able to
showcase our brand in a way that seems very personable, very native to Instagram, I guess is the best way to say it. And that doesn't seem too polished, but more, just more personal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Last season we had Lauren from Shutterfly, and she was previously at Taco Bell. She shared some incredible insight on social strategy, and she focused on an awesome principle of like why share, why care. That basically just helps you drill down into your why on social, and how your strategy levels up to your why, and how consumers are interacting with. So would you say that you guys tap into that kind of why share, why care mentality at AvantStay? And then like how so?
Yeah, I think the amount of times a day I say, does this provide value? I
Mhm.
probably probably cannot even count. Um, I look at what people share sometimes and if we should be resharing it or not. And it's like, well, does our audience care about what this guest is doing, or does it show what the Avance experience provides?
Mhm.
So, like, do we want to share a person eating their Chinese food takeout? No. Do we want to show someone cooking in the home that shows that, hey, this home comes with a kitchen? Um, this home has a personal chef. So,
Yeah.
figuring out, like, okay, this doesn't really make sense to share, but this provides value and shows what you can do in the home. So, kind of like figuring out, do people care or not? And I think that's one of the main things you have to think about you do get a decent amount of UGC and you do want to share a lot of it. You have to kind of pick like, okay, what would I actually care to see on my feed, and what would I scroll past? Because what you want to do is make sure that if you're reposting someone's Instagram story to your story, you want to be sure that you're not boring the people or sharing stuff that people don't care about, because
Right.
if they swipe away, that's going to hurt you in the algorithm. And you want to
Mhm.
make sure that people are clicking through your entire story, that the completion rate doesn't fall off toward the end. So
Right.
providing that value throughout. um, I've also seen a lot of people really, this kind of goes back to your last question, but just as we're talking about Instagram stories, really did a deep dive into like what people are engaging with on our stories. And we're seeing that polls actually really
Yeah.
get the most impressions out of even like all of the Instagram stickers that you can use, questions and quizzes. I think polls, because it's just a yes or no kind of choice. You could tap through it quickly. People engage with them, and Instagram sees that people are engaging with the story and boosts those impressions. So all of our stories that incorporate polls get the highest amount of impressions. So we've definitely also
Wow.
been trying to incorporate a lot more polls. Taking people through the homes and saying, which bedroom would you choose, or what would you do
Yeah.
first at this home? Jump in the pool or play some pool, stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think I've seen those on your stories because I'm like a huge fan of polls. I love giving my opinion even though I'm like one of millions or whatever giving my opinion, no one cares, but I'm like super obsessed with answering polls. So I've seen all of yours and they're all amazing. I was going to ask, do you guys work with influencers or anything? I know you mentioned a lot of UGC comes through, but do you have like influencer content as well? And then like, what does a typical influencer campaign look like for you, if you do actually work with influencers?
yeah, so at Avance, the influencers actually fall under our partnerships team. So I
Okay.
work very closely with them when it comes to the deliverables. So if we have an influencer staying, and we see that they want to stay at so and so house, I'll be like, oh well, I know that house has an infinity pool and it has this amazing feature that we should have them take a picture with. So I'll kind of go in and give some direction on, how they should highlight the home. And then our partnerships team will work with that influencer to kind of go over all of the details when it comes to their stay and the promotion behind it. When it comes to actually like doing campaigns, we get a lot of inbound from influencers. I think
I'm sure.
I think when you see a beautiful home, anyone would want to try to stay at it for a discounted price. So
Hmm.
we get a lot of inbound, and we also do outreach for certain types of campaigns. So, for example, I know we have like a snow ski campaign coming up. So we're looking for people who love skiing and snowboarding and would love to, get out to our ski markets and have a snowy trip along with a big group of friends or family. So we're looking seasonal campaigns and people that make a good fit for them.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And actually, going into my next question here, you guys, I think, recently held a contest to call on like a digital duo to tour your properties and create
Yes.
some content. How did that go? Is that still going on or is it over?
So this was actually kind of inspired by when I did the internship at the Points Guy. It was such a viral phenomenon, I guess. Like it was shared across all these major publications, Thrillist, Business Insider,
Yeah.
Cosmopolitan, I remember. So I actually was really excited when I got that role back then. And I was like, all right, what can we do to get a lot of press? And I remember how much press that got when I had did that internship back then. So I was like, how can we do something that's different, that we can get some amazing creators in? So we came up with Avantstay's digital duo, and it was a dream job kind of position where we looked for two people that would come in, stay at some beautiful homes, and create awesome content for us. So we had people submit content, and we picked two amazing content creators to work with us. They just did their stay in Scottsdale, and we actually have them staying at another home in just a few weeks in Coachella. And
Oh,
that
wow.
home is absolutely incredible. It's called Buena Vista, and it is one of Avantstay's estates. So it's one of the homes that comes with a personal concierge. It's very actually popular for weddings. There's a big event space.
Wow.
It's a beautiful home on a lake, your own private lake, actually, I should add. It's
Oh my
just
goodness.
a private lake in your backyard. You can go like paddle boating on it and stuff. So,
Casual, everyone
um,
has one of those.
yeah. So they're going to be staying at that home. They're going to be doing some really cool activities. They're going to be doing a hot air balloon ride off the backyard of the property.
Wow.
So there's
Oh
some
my
cool stuff
goodness.
coming up from them. But overall, the initial press that we got around it, I mean, we got hundreds of millions of impressions, I believe it was.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a pretty successful campaign that we did, and I'm excited to see everything that they come up with. So make sure you follow Avantstay along on Instagram to see everything from that trip, because that is going to be incredible.
Yes, absolutely. We will put the Instagram handle in the show notes as well, so everyone knows where to
Yeah.
go and find it. Are they doing any TikTok content, or is it mainly just Instagram?
So they're going to be making video content that's suitable for Reels and TikTok.
Okay,
So
awesome.
our TikTok right now, we are a little slow on it. There's not much on it, to be honest. But that's why we are hiring this new role to get someone in there that can really pump out a lot of that kind of content. Because right now it's just me, and just keeping everything afloat is a challenge in itself. So to have time to, be able to be creative and edit video and stuff, I definitely need some help. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
excited
I
for
give
that.
you major props on running the whole like social department, social strategy, all of that yourself. That's a huge job. So, and you're also doing so well with it. No one would ever know that it's just one person behind the screen.
Thanks.
So,
Thank you so much.
great job.
Thank you.
Well, we're nearing the end of our interview here. We love to ask this question on Marketing Happy Hour. We probably asked it to you when you were on our Clubhouse session. Is
Mm.
there anything that you know now that you wish that you knew when you started your career?
Oh yeah, so many things. All the things. Let me see. I could pick like a top 3 probably. First one real quick. I wish I had started internships earlier in college than I did. I didn't do my first internship until going into my senior year, and it actually was not even relevant to social media or marketing at all. So that was kind of a bummer, and it made things harder for me to get my first job out of college. So I think really getting in early, getting that experience with internships is so important. Secondly, I would say if you want to work in social media, you have to be prepared to wear a lot of hats.
Yep.
There's so much that goes into social media. I think people just think it's like posting a picture and that's it. But you have to be able to edit photography. You have to be able to edit video. You have to be able to write and be a good copywriter. You have to be able to understand analytics. You need to understand, what's trending and be on top of things. And just there's so many different aspects that go into social that go beyond just posting. that I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people understand what happens behind the scenes. And then third is just you have to have some thick skin, especially when you're working for a brand, when your work is directly seen by everyone. So, you're not the copywriter that works on an email that gets looked over 5 times before it gets sent out. You're not the product person that does some back end typing. Like, you are the one that's pushing out send, and it's going out to everyone, from the CEO to your investors to your guests. Everything that you do is seen by everybody. So all eyes are on you. If you make a mistake, if your work isn't up to par, like everyone knows. So you have to make sure that you have everything together, and that if something doesn't go right, you just have to be prepared to have your work seen by everyone and know that you have to put out your best work at all times.
Yeah. Do you have any like tips on kind of how to manage that like pressure? Because I feel like that's a lot of pressure when you are that front facing person, like behind the social media channels, like putting out content, maybe getting scrutinized or getting some emails in your inbox like this is spelled wrong or like this isn't right. Do you have any tips on like how to manage like stress or the pressure that comes with all of that?
Yeah, I think you really just have to have a strong team behind you that you can be able to bounce ideas off of and run copy by and get a second opinion, so that you are comfortable putting out what you're putting out and have a second eyes on things, because at least you can say like, oh, well, other people looked it over too. But
Right.
I think when it comes to the stress, like, you really just have to get used to it. Like, I think when I was first getting into it, I would get, if anything was like criticized, I would take it a little personal. But now I've just learned, like, okay, this is what they like, this is what they don't like, and I won't do this again. I adjust for the next time. And it's
Sure.
kind of just growing and learning as you go, and it's really something that you just kind of build up as you continue in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about testing and learning and figuring out what's going to work for you. So, and also, I love how you said like not taking things personally. I know a lot of people like fresh out of college and their first jobs like can very much tend to take things personally when their work or whatever is criticized. And really, it's just, that's your job and it's separate from who you are, but it is a part of, what you do. So, put your best work out there and learn from your mistakes. I think that's super, super valuable.
Yeah.
Um,
Luckily, I don't work for a brand that gets a lot of like hate messages and comments, because I know there are a lot of social media managers out there that will get messages that say, I hate this, or what you're doing, or what
yeah,
your brand does. So you really
yeah,
have to be able to have a thick skin there.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything with us today. Where can everybody find you? Is it LinkedIn, Instagram? Where are you at?
So you can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Danielle Vito, or you can follow me on Instagram at Destination Danielle.
Oh, how
And
fitting. That's so
yeah,
travel
very on
forward.
brand.
Yes,
Of
I love
course.
that. Love it. Well, thank you so, so much. Everyone can also follow AvantStay. What's the handle?
It's at AvantStay, so AVANTSTAY.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much, Danielle. This was such a great conversation.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Shout out to Erica for that awesome interview with Danielle. I loved getting to hear about Danielle's experience managing the social media team of one at AvantStay. It's such a large brand across social media, so I cannot imagine having to balance all of that on her own, but she is killing it. So make sure you guys follow AvantStay online. Also, if you loved this episode, we would love to hear your feedback. Don't forget to rate and subscribe the podcast. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Marketing Happy Hour. That is at Marketing Happy HR. We can't wait to see you guys next week.